It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
Welcome, Ermanni and Networks with Maz Thursday, but my man Anson Wells filling in for Ryan Ermanni. How you doing over there? First and foremost, really? With the green and white, the Michigan State, Jesus Louise.
I didn't wear it on accident, but hey, when the sun hits like this, it just inspires you to wear the most beautiful color in the rainbow.
You know what? I'm gonna let you have that today. Joining us in the audio booth, Maria is back again. Maria,
Hello.
how you doing? You good?
Back.
What'd you get into last night or yesterday? You do anything fun, exciting?
No, I went to bed early.
That's
I was,
typically
like,
what you
done.
do when
I
it's
was like, I
8
need to
degrees
sleep.
outside.
That's kind of fun and exciting sometimes.
It is. It was great.
Keep it
was
professional over there, sir.
No, I mean,
Right.
going to bed early is great sometimes,
It's
man.
awesome.
Just messing with you. Tom Mazaway wearing the Honolulu blue and white. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, brothers and sisters.
Brother.
And our guest Dave sitting in here. We'll get to him in a bit.
Another
Thanks.
Michigan State guy.
KG Yeoman's work in the booth. Thank you for sitting in for Pete. Last night I got to hang out, and my daughter Lily has been asking me for years, Dad, I want to watch The Godfather with you. I've never seen it.
Which one? The original? You gotta
Once,
start with
she's
the
never
original.
seen
Gotta
any.
start with the original.
Yeah, my daughter's is Maria's age, so they're basically identical twins almost. So I'm like, all right, we'll sit down, we'll watch it. I put it in. I look for it on streaming, and I thought every day that I'm on all my streaming apps, I always see The Godfather for free. For some reason, it disappeared, and they wanted me to pay, and I wasn't going to pay. So I had to reach down deep into my Blu-ray collection, and I put it into Blu-ray.
Nice.
So we watched it on Blu-ray, and she absolutely loved it. Absolutely, all 3 hours of it.
What's not to love about that movie?
So I'm just happy to share my joy of great movies.
And even more
with my
excited to
daughter.
share Godfather 2, which
Godfather
is
2.
arguably better.
I think a little slower, though, than Godfather 1, but very
A
good.
little bit, yeah.
No doubt.
You think 2 is slower than 1?
I think it is.
With the flashback and stuff.
But when
Yeah.
2 heats up, though, it's
Oh, yes.
it gets,
Oh,
it
yeah.
gets
Oh, yeah.
going.
Second half,
Great.
boy.
When he kisses Fredo in Cuba,
You know it's over.
It's
You know it's over.
it's story.
I used to watch 1, 2. I would even watch 3. I would throw it in there once a year. I just did that for a long time. I haven't done it in a while, but just Francis Ford Coppola, man, it's just mastery.
Woo!
I might have to
just
go back
mastery at its
myself.
finest.
So good, guys. So
Yo,
freaking
100%.
Hey,
What
no,
else
I was
can-
about to say,
ahead.
JB Smooth said in the chat that it's on Tubi for free, man. So
Tubi. All right.
There you
Thanks,
go.
JB.
Yeah.
I don't want to
JB
watch it
Smooth.
with commercials, though.
This is true, because that turns into a 4-hour movie.
That's right.
Right.
Turns into a 4-hour movie.
KG
Man,
over in the cuss booth today. How you gonna keep it clean, my friend?
I'm gonna try to, man. You know, we got the regular gang back here, but I see why Pete be stressed out in this booth. I mean, all the stuff you having them do before the show, but it is what it is. We rocking.
I feel like every time I see KG, whether I'm tuning into BD Energy or this show, or sometimes in the morning, like he's in different spots. Like I've seen you here, I've seen you there,
I'm
I've seen you
versatile.
there, I've seen you over there, I've seen you in the mask chair before.
Yeah, versatility.
He's
man.
like
Swiss
Khalif
Army
Raymond.
KG.
Shout out to the Swiss Army knife, better known as KG. Matt, probably start with the Pistons since I'm rocking the teal, the old school motor uniforms. As they won last night, they beat the Nets 113-98 for their 5th straight win. Malik Beasley had 23, and the Pistons improved to 19-18,
Yeah.
which is above 500 for the first time in 7 years. Going to the game tonight, I'm excited to see them against Steph Curry and the Warriors.
Dubs.
The Dubs are in town. It's a packed house, and it might be some Pistons support in there. Last time I saw the Warriors play the Pistons last year, it was all Dubs in there. It was all Dubs and it was all blue. Pistons win again. I know you got to be happy, Anson.
Oh, I'm real happy. You know, we were in here together on Tuesday, and I talked about Cade Cunningham. We put a post up that blew up quite a bit. And there was one guy that kind of commented on it. He said, he's not unguardable. How are you guarding him?
No.
His perimeter game, his ability to drive to the basket, his mid-range game, and then if you do get a hand up or you kind of stop that drive or you make him make a decision, he is finding the open man. Saw a spin move, switched hand in the air layup last night. But one thing I forgot to mention on Tuesday, this is one of the best two-way players in the game. But it's not just Cade Cunningham who's playing great defense. This entire Detroit Pistons team is playing inspired ball, and they are playing tenacious defense. They are diving after loose balls. And this team reminds me, and I think the fan base, of the Piston teams that we've loved. The bad boys, the going-to-work Pistons. They bring it. The defensive intensity is just, it's so... I've been waiting so long for a team like this because we've had players. We've had Blake Griffins. We've had a young Cade. But we have never had a team putting it on the floor for 48 minutes the way that this team does for over 15 years.
Pistons a favorite tonight. 2.5-point
Wow,
favorites.
really?
Would you look at that over the Warriors and Steph
How about
Curry?
that?
Tenacious D, by the way, was a hell of a group. Jack
Yes,
Black.
they were.
Shout out to Jack Black and the Green Pick of Destiny. Kay Cunningham, we've been talking about him. One of the things that I saw last year as he was starting to get better, and even earlier this year, tell me if I'm wrong, KG, is he exerts on both ends of the court. He plays defense,
Absolutely.
he plays offense, he's a floor general, he's always trying to figure out. In a lot of those games early on in the season, he was getting tired and he couldn't finish. I feel like now he's in shape, he's figured it out, and I feel like he plays both ways. He's slowed the game down, much like Luka does, but he's playing on both sides of the court.
No, absolutely. And, you know, he had to take time, like you said, to adjust to the game speed and all that. They also had to figure out a way to stagger his minutes with Jaden Ivey. But ever since, you know, that's happened, and even when Jaden Ivey goes down.
That's a great point, man.
Yeah, Cade he's been the man. And they ask him to do everything on the floor night in and night out. You talk about defense, rebounding, scoring, setting up the offense, facilitating. He literally does it all. But the fact that he has, you know, been able to raise his offensive game, I mean, from the field, he's shooting better than he ever has. From the three-point, he's shooting better than he ever has. It goes a long way into what he can do in terms of facilitating, setting up everybody else, and making sure they get their buckets as well.
Man, I think the Pistons are excited about, talking about the players and the fans, they're excited about this staff, J.B. Bickerstaff, pun intended on this one. He and his staff have come in here and he's changed the players around, he's giving them something a little bit better to believe in, and you can see the players actually really starting to believe in what J.B. is teaching.
I mean, considering what they had last year.
Yeah.
Last year was an absolute unmitigated disaster. I mean, nobody was on the right page. I mean, Jaden Ivey was on the freaking bench. I mean, this team was a mess. They had no leadership. They were rudderless. And the guy didn't want to be here. Let's face it. You get this guy, J.B. Bickerstaff, who took the Cavs to the playoffs, won a couple of series as
3
well.
years in a row, by the way.
How about it?
3 years in a row.
How about it, man? So he was a top-notch guy that wanted to come here, can work with young players, and get these veterans to come in here and buy into it. Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr., all these guys, man. It just works out. They're a fun team to watch. They're in almost every game. And when would the last time the Pistons would have been favored over the Golden State Warriors? And they're favored
Maybe
tonight,
never.
man.
Maybe never.
I can't remember.
Because the Pistons haven't been good since the Warriors have been the Warriors, which is about 13, 14, give or
It
take.
tells you all you want to know right there.
Yeah.
Not since Steph Curry has been in
No.
a Warriors jersey, that's for sure.
Not at all. And then it helps when you got guys like Malik Beasley. Like, look, we know what Malik Beasley's doing. He is paying for that contract. He's trying to get a contract, so he's starting to find his rhythm as well. Not just the three-point ball, but he's finally getting to the rack, too, and getting those key points for the Pistons when they need it. So.
Hanson's guy, Fontenecchio, had a great day.
Finally.
That's
the
another
hell is that?
KG's guy.
Yeah.
I've been hard on
Fontenecchio.
Beasley.
That's it.
I've been hard on Beasley, and I think that his shot selection, excuse me,
Slot selection.
has, it's come in the kind of the ebb and flow of the team. There were so many times where he was just trying to create momentum for them, trying to get that dagger bucket, that big three. He's working within the offense now. And I think that you've just watched since the first part of the season, he's become one of the best three-point shooters in the league, and it's because he's working within the system. But the out perimeter game right now is looking fantastic. Yeah. You're not seeing Isaiah Stewart and a bunch of other guys. You see an occasional missed three by Ron Holland, but these guys are getting to the hoop. Ron Holland has given up on that corner three, and the guy's going after loose balls. He's getting dunked. He's getting fouled at the rim, and you're seeing everybody kind of start to understand their role because Cade truly is the leader. He's the guy who's going to take the shot when you need one. He's the guy that's going to take the last shot in the game, and all of the offense goes through him. But we know who each player is, but more importantly, they know now as well. So they're not trying to do too much. There's way less hero ball, which is basically all we watched last year.
Maz, in the East, it's really not that good. Well, let's not say it's really not that good. It's okay. It's just an average league this year. The Pistons are in the hunt for
right there for number 5.
100%. They're in the hunt for playoffs. But how far and how long do you think before the Pistons are really a team to consider? We understand what they're building now, but it takes time and it takes the right players. Yeah,
I would say right now, the way they've been, they're ahead of schedule right now as far as we're
100%.
looking at, right?
Yes, sir.
Do they
They-
make the play? Even if they made the playoffs this
Yeah.
year, we and this is, I don't want to just throw it out there. We know they're not winning, but
No.
that's more so what I mean. How long do you think, as it's currently going, you give the Pistons?
3 years to be a real competitor.
Okay.
3 years. 3 years. They got a nice nucleus. If they continue to draft well and get some guys to come here and they'll spend the money, they got the money. It's only a matter of time before the product takes off. The Pistons were a product, man, back in the day. They were a product.
Yeah.
And they've been relative zero for the past 10, 12 years. It sucks. Yeah. But they can get back there. How many in a row did they go in the early 2000s? Six Eastern Conference championships in a row?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
it's
this
right
is
there.
This is one of the premier NBA franchises. But the way that they're playing right now is a bit of a double-edged sword. We have our first-round draft pick protected, I believe, only through the first 14 spots. So basically that means that if we are one of the top 8 teams after we win a play-in game, we would not have a number 1 pick. So as much as I and other fans, I'm sure in the chat, would love to say we're only a year or two away, I don't see us having a number 1 pick.
True, but
we have a lot of flexibility with our cap, and this team is very young, and they're getting better, and they feel like they might only be 1 player away, which could be through a trade, which could be through free agency, but not having that number 1 pick, not being in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes is a bit of a blow. I'd say no earlier than 2 years where they're a true competitive team.
Cooper Flag is having a time down in Duke right now, by the way. G,
No, he absolutely
What were you
is.
about to say, KG?
But no,
Get you on
I
there.
mean, I do get that premise, but just based off the Pistons draft look, I don't think we'll actually be in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes to begin with. And then you look at the makeup of this team. How does another 18 to 19, 20-year-old help you at this point?
Cooper Flag,
I mean, I get that.
I don't care
but-
how old he is.
No, and I get that.
But if you're not going to get the number 1, is what KG is saying.
It's kind of pointless at this point.
I
I
would
think you
rather be in
have
the-
your. No, my bad. My bad.
I'm sorry. I'd rather be in the playoffs and end up with that 12 pick, which is what we would probably get if we were in there. But you never know. You know, Silver likes to hand place those balls to a team that could really ascend with a great pick like Cooper Flag. I mean, could
That's
you
true.
imagine what this roster would look like with that guy in the middle?
Well, it ain't going to happen because, let's face it, Wembayama should be here.
Exactly.
But he's not here. They're not going to let us
Chet
get.
should be here.
They're not going to let him. They're not going to let us get those guys. So
Well-
let's just put that away and concentrate on what I told you a couple months ago. Get Devin Booker here to play ball here.
Oh,
in
he
Detroit.
ain't coming.
I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
This is true. I don't know if Devin Booker's ready to come here just yet, with the Pistons not necessarily being a team. But part of the process in terms of getting people into the program, what did we hear during the draft talk? We heard about how agents were telling their players not to even try out for the Detroit Pistons. Don't even go. Don't even take and then so that means free agents. Free agents aren't coming here because their agents aren't coming here because there's no process. That's where the Pistons can get better. Until that changes, until the perception, and I think this is kind of how you get it done. Show that you have some stability.
Well, and that's what the Lions have done.
Yeah,
And when the
100%,
Lions when this new
1000%.
regime came in, they couldn't sign anybody. They had to basically, bait somebody coming in for a 1-year deal.
Way overpaid.
Look at Anzalone, 1-year deal. Another 1-year deal, and then they finally give him a 3-year deal. But it's the same type of situation where if this team can get themselves into a playoff series and win some games, hey, maybe even a whole series they could win. Now you are different. Your perspective in the eyes of the league is different. David Silver, if he's influencing a draft, okay, well, if Cooper Flag goes here, he's not going to toil and be wasted away. This is actually now a great team. But dealing in reality, free agents now, they're going to come to Detroit after this offseason.
I think so. I definitely think so. The Detroit Pistons seem to be moving in the right direction.
Did you hear about? Well, obviously, we all are praying for the people in California with the wildfires.
Yeah.
They canceled the Lakers game tonight at Staples Center. J.J. Redick lost his house to the wildfires. Lots of people are displaced. I can't even wrap my head around what I'm seeing out there. I just pray for everybody out there. But I had to mention Lakers canceled tonight.
Yeah, the same. I didn't realize it was as crazy as it was, and I apologize for my ignorance. I didn't know that it was that serious until I was scrolling on Instagram. I want to say this was yesterday, maybe afternoon after the show, and I was just looking from the airplane views, and you're just seeing like the area that's covered. It almost, remember Independence Day when it came out? Remember after the beam came down out of the UFO and it blew up L.A. and it blew up D.C. and it blew up New York? Remember what it looked like after the beam and after the fire? That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It looked like a scene out of Independence Day would look like the apocalypse,
Yeah.
if you will, man. Prayers up to those people, and your prayers may not be enough, man. But look, God hears also. We are praying for all the families involved. A lot of people with no insurance too, by the way.
Oh yeah, well,
Tons of
we don't need to
people
get
with
too
no
far
insurance.
into that. But
Yeah.
to bring it back to the Pistons and your Knicks.
Good job by you.
The
Good job by
Pistons
you.
on Monday. You know I want to talk about that
and that's
so
why I
bad
had to give
too,
you
Bray.
credit. I had to give you credit for showing restraint. Good job.
I got a string around my finger that said don't do it.
100%. Good stuff.
But yeah, so we've got Toronto on Saturday after the Dubs tonight. And then we get to see your
Don't the
New York
Suns come
Knicks
in,
on
so?
Monday,
Is
which
that MLK Day?
I believe so, which I have to apologize. No, isn't that in February? MLK
No,
Day?
it's
No,
January.
Is it?
January.
Okay.
Second
So
week.
I do have to apologize because I said that the Timberwolves got the better of that deal. And through 30-some games, almost 40 games of the season, your Knicks look pretty darn good. That, to me, is the biggest test that the Detroit Pistons have had
Yeah.
since they got swept in their last playoff appearance.
I tell you a little bit about that deal. Whoever was receiving Julius Randle lost that bet.
Yeah,
I knew
absolutely.
that from jump.
True story.
Absolutely.
Whoever lost him won the bet.
Yep.
And that was the Knicks. You get rid of Julius Randle. He's a guy that, he just
He's not a
doesn't.
bad ball player.
He's not a bad ball player, but he doesn't have that next gear. If you notice, a lot of guys in the NBA, and I'm not trying to put them on blast, but you watch it, they play about 85% during the year. Some
Yeah.
games they'll turn to 100 depending on what
Can't
channel
blame
they're
him
on.
for 80 games.
But what I'm saying, 100%. Julius Randle doesn't have that next gear when you get to the playoffs, and it always gets exposed. He can't go up another level, and I think that's where you start to know who the true all-stars are when you get in the playoffs and you see that level rise and it changes. He's just always stuck in the same mode from the regular
Listen,
season.
man, it changes for players. Like you said, Cat's a dud. But when you go to New York and you're playing at the Garden and you hear that organ playing and the crowd is,
Energy, man.
it's
Infectious.
got energy that no arena has. True. It's got real, true energy. And last year, they just ran out of gas against the Pacers. They had a Game 7 to get in there to play the Celtics, and they just ran out of gas. They ran out of bodies.
Yeah.
They ran out of gas. We'll see how it goes for the remaining part of the year. We'll see how long Cat can go. But they were missing that big man like that. They haven't had a guy since Patrick Ewing.
Man, you're right about the energy at Madison Square Garden, man. Quick before we get into the Detroit Lions, I know that's where you all guys want to go. And I was out last night with Muhammad. Can't tell you where we were at with
Oh, I
the
love that
Prophet?
guy.
100%. But
Nice.
let me just tell
Okay.
you about the energy that is him. Terry and Arnold was there as well.
Shout out.
Is he limping?
No comment.
I just want to know
The
where they went now,
energy
Maz. I'm not going to
and
lie.
where they are is amazing. Like, they are focused on one thing and one thing only: the Super Bowl. It's the only thing that came out of their mouth last night. The energy is real. They talked about little things. I'm just telling you, that energy is infectious. So it's good to see that's where they are.
They're walking on
Yeah.
water everywhere they
are.
go in this city.
But they're focused. But they stayed in. They're still dialed in. The whole dinner. Neither had drinks. They got a bye week, by the way. They could have been drinking. They could have enjoyed what was going on.
could have
but
been on the OBJ
water
boat.
and chill. Water and
The
chill in the
OBJ
couch.
Chelsea
Island.
was there in spirit,
Nah.
huh?
100% Jalen Rose. But anyway, get into the Detroit Lions. Quick question, Maz. I want to ask this. I want to get the people in the chat involved in this. I know you guys can have some fun. Ben Johnson, the OC, Detroit Lions, and we'll talk about him actually right now because he scheduled the interview with the Pats as well as the Raiders tomorrow. My question is, and it came
Bears and
up
Jags on
last night
Saturday.
Yeah, I
in
see the Jags
conversation,
there.
and the Jags, 100%, the Bears on Saturday. Is Ben Johnson overrated?
Ooh.
Is Ben Johnson overrated? And hear me out before you guys go ape. You know what? In the comments,
You already know they are.
we give Ben Johnson all this love and all this credit, and we finally got here with AG only after we've seen a miracle. But AG's been a great coordinator all along, just hasn't had the weapons. Meanwhile, ever since Ben Johnson started, he's had the weapons. He's got it started with Amon-Ra, with J-Mo, with D-Mo, with Jameer, with Jared. Insert the offensive line. You have 4 guys go over 1,000 yards this year. First time in NFL history. All 4 guys are named. Jared Goff is playing behind the best offensive line in football. Are you really that good, or do you just have a team full of weapons that the NFL has only seen a couple of times? Because I don't want to disrespect the 0-1 Rams and a couple of those teams, but are you just coaching some of the best talent ever in one roof, or are you really that good?
Well, I do think that it's a bit of both.
It's a fun question. It's a fair question.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look at the chat because I already know that they're
They're going
taking
up.
this as
That's why I
pure
asked them.
blasphemy.
I
But
want it.
listen, it's both ways. You have these fantastic players, but you have to develop them. They drafted basically all these guys, and then they brought in a thrown away Jared Goff, and they are getting the best out of them. They were able to put together an offensive system that they thought utilized their skills and got away from their weaknesses as best as possible. That being said, and as good as they've been at putting that system together and matching it up with their players and developing them to perfect this system, you're right, Bray. There's 5 future Hall of Famers there. I'll say it. Penei Sewell is a future Hall of Famer. Our quarterback, we can get into that a little bit later. I think he's on the road there. Jahmyr Gibbs, Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, who knows who J-Mo even turns into.
Frank Ragnow.
Yeah, there are plenty of other guys on the offensive line that could be considered as well. At the end of the day, this team can find a coach that can come in and teach this system. Now, they're going to hold on to that playbook a la Waterboy.
They better. 100%.
They're going to. And we've seen before Ben Johnson was fully calling these plays, Dan Campbell took over the play calling for this team and did pretty damn well with it. I believe that they have a system in place, and I believe that it is built for their players and it is coach-proof, meaning as long as you don't bring in just somebody off of Woodward here and you get the right guy, I don't think that we're going to really lose a beat without Ben Johnson. So I don't believe that he's underrated or overrated.
Watch your mouth.
But I think that we can. I think that it's a loss that the Lions can handle and replace.
Word on the street, first of all, is he might not be gone
I saw
this
that.
year. So I'm going to hold on to that. There are 4 jobs open. We just discussed them. And the Raiders are open as well. Raiders and Patriots. I don't want to go to either one of those 2 teams. Well, he's not going to the Pats. I believe that's Mike Vrabel. I could be wrong. Bears and Jags. I don't want to go to the Bears. Jags. I told you. I think that's the good job for him. But Shad Khan is getting he's getting a lot of flack out there as not a good owner.
Yeah.
But just putting that out there, is he overrated? No, he's not overrated, Bray. He's a brilliant play caller. He's got the beat of this team. He has great players. Absolutely. I don't think he could do the same play calling if he was on the New York Jets. Although they have some pretty good weapons as well, just not Lion-esque. They will miss him terribly if he leaves. Hopefully, the people that will stay when we lose these coaches. If you lose Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, you're not only losing them. Hank Fraley, by the way, is getting an interview with the Seahawks tomorrow as the offensive coordinator.
Shout out to Hank Fraley.
Hank Fraley. That's your guy, Bray.
Yeah, shout out to Hank Fraley.
Now, there's guys like Mark Brunell in the wings, Kelvin Shepard, other people. Who's our Antoine Randall, wide receiver coach. All these coaches are so high on lists right now across the Lions are in the headlights of everybody. They could lose quite a number of coaches once they start going into becoming head coaches. They're not going to not take their guy with them. So it could be a completely different looking coaching staff next season. But as long as you have the Lion King, Dan Campbell, and the boss upstairs, Brad Holmes, and I just mean up in the press box, not way upstairs, alongside Sheila. Hell, we might lose Chris Spielman too, right? He might go to the Jets. Chris Spielman's getting an interview with the Jets.
100%.
As the general manager.
Yeah.
Hey,
He might leave.
Our people are in demand.
So is the Campbell coaching tree going to have further reaching success than the Belichick coaching tree?
I think it will.
Because Belichick said something once, and he said
he only has one guy.
He said that the guy well, his coaching tree wasn't very successful. But he put coaches out all over the league for 2 decades.
Vrabel was the only one that had success.
Certainly. But he always said that the guy that's next up is better than the guy that just left. And if you look at his success rate for guys that left, it was low. But every guy that he brought up underneath him was able to take the baton and run with it and not lose a beat. So my confidence in seeing what he did when he first came here, we talked about this Tuesday, he brought in all of this rock star assistant coach talent, and he got rid of some guys, some friends. I don't question this guy's ability to hire. So regardless, whether we lose 2 or 6, I think we'll be okay.
You see what the Raiders did today, guys?
Clean house.
They fired Tom Tedesco, their general manager. They hired him and Antonio Pierce last year. Guess what? The Tom Brady effect is already taking effect in Vegas. I don't know what they're going to do But I do believe Brady will stay. I bet you he stays in that Belichick tree somewhere, and they bring a couple of Patriot guys back that way. Although Josh McDaniel failed there, obviously, and I think I don't like Josh McDaniel, never did. And I heard rumors he's going to go back to the Patriots to be the OC. Move on from the freaking guy. Get some new blood going. But the Raiders just officially cleaned house today. First they fired their coach. 2 days later they fired their GM. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
And Tom Brady is part of the ownership group there. That's why you said the Brady factor.
Yes. Tom Brady is putting his stamp in Vegas.
Interesting. I like that take.
I saw a crazy stat. It was like in the last 10 years, there have been 54 white head coaches hired, and 5 of them fired after 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been 11 black head coaches hired in that same time, and 4 of them given 1 year.
Yep.
So I don't know what to make of it, but it is what it is. Antonio
It's like
Pierce.
7% versus 35% fire rate after like a year.
It's something to look at. But with that being said, Antonio Pierce, he just wasn't the guy for the job. But maybe this is Tom Brady. You know, this is Tom, and this is Mark Davis, excuse me. Mark Davis brought Tom in to be a focal part of what they were doing, and also put his blueprint on what's going on. So
might be one of the smarter things he's done.
Yeah, the
since
goat.
his
he
dad
has
passed.
done a lot smart, including that haircut.
Yeah.
Including that haircut. Tom wasn't right in the play calling booth. Hopefully, he's better in the front office.
He's
gotta
gotten
be.
better. He's gotten better.
No,
He's not that
No, not at
bad.
all.
He's not that
He's
bad.
not a broadcaster.
I listened to him a lot since you guys criticized him, and I feel like he's gotten a little bit better, but he still struggles for sure. He gets about halfway through his point, and then he kind of comes through with something to finish.
So Aaron Glenn, going back to the Lions guys, he's got interviews with all 6 openings.
Everybody.
But really, is it anything but the Saints or Jets? Is it anything but those 2 things? And yesterday you brought up a great point, man.
Yeah.
You said Chris Spielman, if he does go to the Jets with Aaron Glenn,
I got to give
Come on,
credit.
man.
That was Ryan. Ryan said that. Ryan said if
that
Aaron
would be
Glenn goes,
something.
you bring Chris Spielman in. Like that's starting off. You have a coach that you trust, talking about Spielman. Then you have a GM that was a part of the process of building the Lions up. So that right there could be the stability
Those are
that
big losses
the Jets
for us
need.
here.
Yeah, I
But
just
once
puked in
again,
my
the
mouth,
Saints
man.
are another organization that has had some success. They won a Super Bowl within the last 15, 16 years or so. And they have a storied tradition, great fan base down there in
Great
New
fan
Orleans.
base.
That's something to consider as well. Something
it's a
quarterback
fun team to go to.
This is something that, as Lions fans, we've never really had to go through.
Losing your coaches.
I mean, it's scary. The idea, I mean, AG, I get it, man. The guy's been pretty awesome here, and he basically follows the same road that Dan Campbell did, going back to a franchise that struggled while he was there and trying to take him over the top. But, man, Chris Spielman as a Jet, I can't see him as anything other than a Detroit Lion. That one is harder for me to stomach than anybody else, to be quite honest with you.
Lions
But he'd
have
be
never
the
had
boss.
That's 54 in Honolulu Blue forever.
Lions have never had. Well, he played for the Buffalo Bills, so he knows the division.
Oh, this is true.
He knows the division.
This is true.
Lions have never had success like that. So, like you said, we've never experienced losing coaches and looking. Funny, it's now interesting watching. You're like, this is why teams that win the Super Bowl or they win for a while, eventually it starts to go south or starts to go right. You got to pay people.
That's right.
People get jobs. People get offers, and kind of dismantles what you've built in an organization.
Bray,
So-
I want to hear from the chat. We're
Okay,
about to go
yeah.
to break, but you guys know the super chat deal. We will read your chat on air
$5
if you hit us with that super chat. Tell
$10,
us who you are
$3.
most worried about losing out of our coaching staff. Is it Spielman? Is it Ben Johnson? Is it AG? Let us know.
100%. Right now, let's get a commercial break in. How about we do Planet Fitness? Because your fitness is essential. With over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, it's the spot. It's the gym for you. It's a clean gym. They have trainers as well as no judgment. Everybody wants to work out and do their own thing, play the tune of their own music. Well, that's what Planet Fitness lets you do. You come on in because fitness, it's essential, and it's also fitness that fits into your budget. Pull up on Planet Fitness.
And tell us about Les Stanford.
And if you are overdue for that new car, the holidays might be over, but the holiday deals at Les Stanford are not. They've got a Blazer EV 2LT with all-wheel drive for only $149 a month. Equinox EV LT as well for only $169 a month. Get to Les Stanford today. Scan that QR code above my head. Listen, they got a huge inventory. They've got more than Chevrolet. They got Cadillac, Buick, and GMC as well. Les Stanford in Dearborn and Ferndale. LesStanford.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got Tully, everybody.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, want to know where the best pregame Lions party is for the divisional round? That's in 2 weeks, guys. Join us at Detroit's very own second best bar. Enjoy the bye week, then come enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey. While catching the Woodward Sports pregame show, talk about those top seed Detroit Lions. Only at the second best bar, as Pete would say, come get some.
You mentioned Aaron Glenn, and also Ben Johnson is in the mix as well.
Yeah.
What is it? What do you do? Your coordinators in such demand. Is it partly because you empower them and give them so much leeway? And why do you do that? And how have you learned to empower your coordinators?
Well, look, their work speaks for itself. It has nothing to do with me. All right, both of those guys, man, they're smart, they're grinders, they're strategic, they understand how to teach, communicate, motivate, and so their work speaks for itself. And both of those guys are more than worthy of being head coaches. They're ready. They ask the right questions. I've tried to give them everything I think they need to be head coaches, and I believe that both of those guys are more than ready. But look, those two guys do a hell of a job, and so does Phipp, Dave Phipp, our special teams coordinator, and so does Scotty Montgomery, the assistant head coach, who stands in front of the room for us every week. So he's a hell of a coach too. All right, and I don't want to lose any of those guys, but I mean, believe me, he's a head coach candidate. But yeah, those guys, I can't say enough great things about those coaches and the way they work, the way they grind, and have our players prepared to play the way we need to play going in on Sundays. Aaron Glenn he's as good a coach as you're going to find. He's an even better human being, but look, if nobody wants him, I'll take him again. I can tell you that right now. But the thought of going through another cycle and he's not somebody's head coach is ridiculous. I mean, this guy is as good as they come, and he can do it all. He understands how to manage a game. He understands offense, defense, special teams. He knows how to communicate. He understands discipline of players. And he's motivating, man. He's inspiring. Anyway, I don't want to lose him, but I also root for the guy because I just think he's a hell of a coach.
I feel like we have these moments where we watch segments or we watch clips or we have conversations based off something we read online, and where you just keep taking your hat off to the type of coach Dan Campbell is, the type of friendship and structure that is there in Allen Park. If you're going to be an assistant coach, that's how I want my head coach to lobby for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that in the past.
That's true blue.
100%. I'm not saying that in the past coaches haven't lobbied or lobbied on behalf of their assistant coach, but I've never seen it like this. If I was an owner right now, I'm hiring Aaron Glenn. Like, I'm hiring Aaron Glenn based off what the best coach in the best coach in the NFL who has not won a Super Bowl yet says. Like, this is some good stuff from Aaron Glenn, and it's true. You see the response by his players. You see it on the field. You see players make mistakes, and then they get it fixed in the second half. They don't make those same mistakes, and those guys play no matter who's in there. No Anzalone, no problem. No Aiden Hutchinson, no problem. You know what I gave up? I gave up a touchdown right before the half. Don't worry. I'll come back and fix it. Terran Arnold, 2 weeks ago. it seems like Aaron Glenn is definitely the man for the next job in the NFL.
And Maria, this is par for the course for the Dan Campbell Detroit Lions. Yeah. Listen, while McCarthy is denied an interview by the Dallas Cowboys, we're on the absolute opposite coin of that. We've watched every year when guys were short of their number to hit to get their player bonus. A lot of teams are sitting those guys. You look at the Steelers. They didn't want to have to upgrade the pick that they gave away to the Bears in the Justin Fields trade, so he was sat after going 4-2 through 6 games. But you've seen this over and over again. These guys are building everybody up, and that's who you want to follow into a battle, a guy that's going to have your back not only when you're in battle, but when it's over, and be willing to prop you up to help you get that next job. I mean, this guy, that's another reason I'm not worried about losing these guys, because there's going to be a whole lineup of qualified people that want to play for somebody like this.
Listen, man, you saw what the Cowboys did over the weekend. They benched Cooper Rush so he wouldn't hit his bonus. You know what Jerry Jones said? Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Shut up.
Bull! You didn't know that. What a horse crap thing to do.
And to be honest, Cooper Rush deserves that $500,000, because every time they put him in the game, no matter what year, Cooper Rush finds his way to a win or a damn close game.
He's a player.
He deserved that $500,000. 100%.
That was embarrassing what Jerry Jones said. You said it yourself. We're the polar opposite of the Dallas Cowboys. We're America's team. We've taken the title from the Dallas Cowboys. And you hear Dan Campbell not only speak highly about Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, he throws Dave Phipps' name in there, the special teams coordinator. Dave Phipps could be a head coach one day.
Let's get him a job. You get a job.
Everybody gets a job.
You get a job.
It is just remarkable. Meanwhile, if I was Dan Campbell and these are my guys, in my heart, I want to see them do well. But in my other part of my heart was I really want them to stay with me. I want to share the wealth with them forever. And I wish you could keep them all together. I really wish there was a way to keep everybody together. This is the most together football team I've ever been associated with as a fan and somebody that covers a team.
This team is showing the NFL that you can do it this way. Like when I played in the NFL, years before me, even after me, up until this point, you know, Dave, you can attest to this even at the Michigan State, the college level. Like coaches don't trust players with full information. GMs don't trust head coaches with full information.
Amazing.
Owners don't trust anyone in the building with full information. So you have a bunch of people that are trying to decipher things and figure things out. You got guys that get pit against players, or it's about the money. Well, if we take care of them, if we give them a little bit of onus in the team, well, it's like giving the inmates letting the inmates take over the jail. We don't want to do that. No. You give love. You give trust. You give honor. Hey, you know what? If you do this, then you will get this. Look at Penei Sewell. Look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. Look at Jared Goff. Like 100%. If you do what we ask you to do. If you don't do this, well, you won't be here. All be present. Dre Bly, Jamal Williams. Insert player here.
Nice job.
Like they lay it out there for you. If you don't have success, it is all on you. That's what grit is. That's what the determination of Lions are. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell built that.
And the greatest mentors truly want their apprentice to be better than they were.
And be
even not just succeed,
to be better. You're
but
right.
to be better.
Yeah.
And they've brought that mantra to this cultureless franchise.
That's why Urban Meyer is mad at Ryan Day.
Exactly, for sure.
Hey, that can go back to Vince Lombardi. That goes back to George Papa Bear Hallis, and all the way down the line, Bill Parcells, Jimmy Johnson. All these guys want their guys to be the best, and all those guys are still involved in the NFL in some way. Here's a super chat from Dante, of course, our guy, the king of the super chat. He says, to be honest, I'm not worried anymore if we lose our coordinators. That would just tell me the front office is doing something right by supporting the coordinators and getting head coaching jobs. Exactly what Braylon said. Good call, Dante.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the cool thing about it, to kind of piggyback the conversation that we're having right now, when they hire the next offensive coordinator, or when they bring that guy, if it isn't in-house, or what you know who's going to be the first guy to get the crack at interviewing and seeing what it is or being a part of the process, it's Jared Goff. Like, these aren't conversations that are usually had by organizations. They don't let you in on picking your coach or your coordinator. What? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
But that's the kind of conversations they have, because they want the input. Jared, who you want? I don't want a guy in here that Jared doesn't think can get us to where we are or get us past where we are. So that's more part of the camaraderie of the Detroit Lions.
Listen what Rich Hustle says. Thank you, Rich, on the Super Chat. He says, y'all think it's possible to pay coordinators like head coaches to keep them and keep them from stealing our coordinators because they're doing good, nasty work. And that's what I kind of said. I wish there was a way to keep everybody kumbaya and keep them here. But you don't want to always be an assistant. You don't want to be a coordinator. You want to be who your mentor was, who you're looking up to. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Vince Lombardi? The trophy's named after him, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I like the idea of paying coaches more. I'm not going to say like head coaches, but definitely bump the salary up. Maybe you see some coordinators making, I don't know, $5-6 million is a hell of a bump. I think the highest coordinators now make 3 to 4 in the league. I think they
make more than the head coach of Dallas makes.
The offensive coordinator, Ty Monken, for the Ravens makes $4 million. But excuse me on that. I definitely think you can keep them somewhere in the ballpark. You start playing these coaches $5-6 million. Part of the process is keeping them hungry. Like, that's another part of it. You want your coaches to be hungry. We want you to be on it as a position coach so that you can do what you need to do to become an offensive coordinator. And then do offensive coordinator, same thing. It's just like a player. Like, you want your player, you don't just pay them off top. Hey, if you do this in 3 years, we'll come back. We'll give you that bonus. It's kind of what it is to be a coach, position coach, to go to a coordinator, to go to a head coach.
Answer before you say something. Brandon Martin, also on the Super Chat, he said, hey, remember, just a couple seasons ago, fans were asking for Aaron Glenn's job.
Oh, yeah.
Because the defense was historically bad. They didn't have the players, guys, but he said it's great to see the turnaround. So good call on you, Brandon.
Do you want an assistant that plans on being with you for 12 to 15 years, or do you want an assistant that has aspirations to be a future head coach?
I want a head coach. Aspirations to be a head coach. That means he's going to be the best version of himself, and he's going to give me the best that he can give me for my team.
No complacency.
Yeah, 100%. We got about 3 more minutes on that. Why don't we hit the DC on camaraderie? Let's play
We'll talk about it.
We're talking about this kumbaya and team camaraderie. Here's DC on camaraderie.
But yet you look at each other and you trust each other. Even in the bad times, you know that you can win with that guy. You can look at each other and say, we're doing things right. It's going to happen. And they trust it, and we all believe in each other. And I think that's where it all starts. And everybody that we brought in are our type of guys, and they've added to that. They've fueled that. And I think they really love the guys they're next to. I think they really appreciate the guys they're next to. And we talk about it all the time, man. You come in here, man, endear yourself to your teammates. That's big.
Camaraderie, man. Kumbaya. Like teams are jealous of what this team is. You hear other players squawking.
Nick Bosa.
You hear, like the Bears when they were talking, hey, I'm tired of hearing about the Lions. Yeah. The Packers, I forgot the guy's name that they talked in the Packers locker room. Hey, I don't want to hear about Detroit anymore.
Oh, McKinney. It was your boy.
Yeah, it was. It was Xavier McKinney. They're sick of us because they want to be us. Yeah. They want to be us. And in the chat,
hate us because they ain't us.
Rich Hustle, MCDC already changing the game with play calling. Why not change the game with coordinator salaries? LMAO.
Oh, I like that.
Rich Hustle.
Hey, you know
Change
what?
it.
They got the money. That's for damn sure. That looking to the right and looking to the left and knowing that you can depend on the guy, as Dan Campbell talks about, know that you can depend on the man to the right, know that you can depend on the man to the left. See, that's real. So everybody thinks it's cliche and it's like, oh, you get into the game and you look at the guy to the left and the right before the game starts and everybody's on the same page. That's a bunch of BS. I've been on teams in the playoffs at halftime and you look to the left and you know that guy didn't do everything he was supposed to do that week. You know that guy you can't depend on. And you look to the right and it's like, maybe. Those teams don't win championships.
They have a true foxhole mentality.
Yeah, 100%.
And the only way you survive the foxhole is if you completely trust in that guy to your right and that guy to your left. And I can't really recall any team that's had that kind of chemistry and reliance and trust on the next man up.
Yeah, well, that 1998 Michigan State team was pretty good. They know a little something about that. Let's take a quick commercial break, get a message in from... and then we'll talk to Dave Secor next.
Awesome. Right. Tangerine Space Machine is the easy drinking IPA with out-of-this-world flavor, smooth and juicy with a refreshing crushability, takes your taste buds to the moon with Tangerine Space Machine. Grab yourself a can of this intergalactic hazy goodness, the official beer of outer space, brewed by New Holland Brewing Company in Holland, Michigan.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
Back-to-back NFC North Division champions, the Detroit Lions are playoff-bound and ready to eat the kneecaps of anyone standing in our way. Follow Woodward Sports as we cover the best season in Detroit Lions history. Go Lions!
Talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again.
From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
One, y'all see it on the screen, man. It's playoff season, and we got the playoff merch ready for you right now. If you go to woodwardsports.com, click that shop tab. I mean, you see it. 2024 NFC Championships back-to-back. Belt to, you know what? You know we on Fox 2. And, of course, we got the grit shirt right there ready to go. We got the Dan Campbell speech on the shirt. I mean, what more do we have to say? Go to woodwardsports.com, click that shop tab, and unlock a world of possibilities. And while you searching the merch store, might as well have some coffee, too. Sabbath Coffee Roasters. And listen, man, Sabbath Coffee got you covered. Whether you're gearing up for the big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Go to SabbathCoffeeRoasters.com and choose your favorite roast. Use code word Woodward to get 25% off. That's not slight, y'all. Off the first subscription order. Awake, unwind, and support local. And enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters.
Oh, welcome back in. Anson's over there dancing with the Michigan State helmet on, so I'll let him take it from here.
Well, you know, I haven't seen Alex in a little while. We do love our Wolverine Insider, and we're always talking Michigan recruiting. We're always talking corn and blue this and Michigan that and asterisk over here. So I had to dive deep into my Spartan bag here.
You got to give us something to talk about, you know.
That's right. That's right. But we got Dave Sakura, offensive lineman for our Citrus champion Spartans back in the day. We lived in the same dorm. I frequented
poor Dave.
I know, right? Man,
we played some hoops against some legends back in the day, but overall great guy, Spartan ambassador. And in fact, you've kind of turned into a Spartan recruiter. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, a little bit. This year, my nephew was being recruited by Michigan State. He's an offensive lineman out of Macomb, Michigan.
Okay.
Went to Dakota High School, and he's actually going to be an early enroll for the football team this year as an offensive lineman. So
we need a name, Dave.
His name is Justin Bell.
Justin Bell.
We go.
That's right. And he's actually going to report this weekend. So Saturday he reports up to campus, and he'll start classes here this following week.
Let me ask you a question. You know, we've seen the landscape kind of change in college football from when we were in school to what it is now. Like, what do you make of the NIL transfer portal, how it is now? I mean, you see Virginia Commonwealth. I saw that the other day. They're now paying their players $5 million to come to school. It's chaos. You like it, you love it, you're here for it.
I think it's been a perfect storm over the last few years, and I really like the direction that it's headed. I think that we really have to let go of some of the old thoughts that we had about college football and college athletics as a whole. It's a new direction now. A lot of things are changing, exponential speed. Just get used to change. Don't get stuck on the old thought process of where you thought college athletics was. It's going to be a good process. Not everything's going to be perfect to start. And they're going to go through many versions of what they're doing right now. But I think overall it's a great thing for the players and for the schools.
Where are you at with, go ahead, answer.
Oh, it's okay. Well, go ahead and ask him.
Where are you at where Michigan State is right now? Jonathan Smith came in last year. It was his first year out of Oregon State program. I think they won 5 games. Michigan State won 5 games last year. Where are you with Jonathan Smith and where Michigan State is right now?
He played for John L. Smith, so he should know it.
Nah. He missed John L. Smith. He wasn't.
No, I coached under John L. Smith, actually. I was a grad assistant that period, yeah. But, no, I think where Jonathan Smith is right now is a pretty comfortable spot. It's probably where we expected him to be after 1 year. I think that in this landscape of college sports, you've got to give coaches at least a year or two to get some of the new players in, get their system in place. And even with the flipping of the rosters with the transfer portal and everything like that, you still have to be able to set your system in place and go out and recruit guys that are going to fit that system. So I think that they're right where we expected them to be.
I like that part.
You guys talk about bringing people in. You just mentioned something that we talked about before the show that I didn't really realize, and it's, at least what I remember, it wasn't going on when I was there. Now, that was some years ago, but you spoke that Justin's going to be there now. He's starting this week, and that 14 of the 20 commits are starting this semester, and that is a new trend in college football. I'd love to hear both of your experiences in starting at your respective schools and what you're seeing now with these young guys getting in and getting a chance to get assimilated into the college system. Because for me, straight A student coming out of high school, I struggled my first semester, my whole first year. You're on your own. You got to go to classes. What's that?
Straight A's?
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
4.0?
Oh, yeah.
Are we talking 4.0 like 3.1?
What's that?
30?
Yeah, I was a smart kid, man.
All right.
I was a smart kid,
Why'd
but
you go to
I
Michigan
struggled
State?
going to state. What's that?
Why'd you go to state?
Hey, man, I got accepted to both, and I visited both, and Ann Arbor is a fantastic town. But when you go from a school with 600 kids in your whole school in high school, and you end up in a class where there's 600 people in your introductory site, I'm just curious, like, how much you think that is a bonus and is a positive for these young kids coming in and not having to transition into both college athletics as well as college life at the same time, being able to do one before the other?
Oh, I think it's a tricky question. I might piss some people off. I think, a lot of people go to school and you go to class, and those classes you never remember again after you left. A lot of the effort, the curriculum that you're learning, you're not using that once you leave there. So I think the business model of what NIL and with the transfer portal, the ideas, the consciousness, the decision making that you have to do nowadays, I think it's actually better preparing these men and young ladies, women for the world. Prepare the decision that you're going to have to make in the world. A lot of it involves finances, financial literacy. So I like what it is, and in the school part, you'll figure it out. You'll go to the classes that matter. That's just what it is. That's not me. I don't like student athlete. Is a term that we took great pride in. Student athlete, because those hours were hard. Those classes were tough. Trying to figure out how to get ready for a midterm. And oh, by the way, you got to play Michigan State this Saturday. So it was a tough process, but they don't have those same issues. Because if you're paying a kid $10 million and he flunks a class, what are you doing? Is he suspended?
Right.
Is he not playing? No, the kid's going to play.
Yeah, and I think it's a completely different landscape from when you or I were in college. It's been 20 to 25 years since we were in the classroom back there. But I think now they've advanced so much in their growth process that they have to mature a lot earlier because they've got to deal with all this other stuff, right? We never had to deal with the accounting of making thousands of dollars or millions of dollars that some of these folks are doing.
I was a kid until I was 35.
Right.
They're kids
Exactly.
18 now.
Well,
I mean,
just
Or
like
they're done.
the early enrollment now, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing it. Like Michigan State has about 75% of the new freshmen coming in that are doing the early enrollment in the spring, and I think that's just well thought out and planned ahead, where you can get that extra semester in before the season, so that you're not coming in the end of August and getting yourself right in the class and the season as well.
All right, it'd be boring if we didn't ask you some questions about when you played. Some of the guys you played with. Charles Rogers was a good friend of mine. Rest in peace to Charlie Rogers.
Absolutely.
TJ, we've talked about TJ Duckett. Funny TJ Duckett story. This had to be. This was my freshman year in high school. I'm at indoor championships in track up in Ann Arbor. I'm talking to TJ. TJ, I read about him in the paper. I see his highlights sometimes on the news. So I had a chance to sit there and talk to him as he was kind of warming up. So I thought, we're just talking. I'm like, yo, like, what's it like? You going to Michigan State? What's the recruiting like? Why are you so big? Why are you so swole? Pause on that. Like, how are you so fast? Had a conversation with him about 20 minutes. Don't you know after 20 minutes, he said, yo, I'll be right back. Lil Stan is what he called me. That's my dad. He went and threw the shot put and broke the state record.
Yeah, he threw it like 68 feet or something crazy.
He broke.
Right?
You know who else was in there? Rest in peace. Mark Otney.
Mark Otney Brian Otney.
Well, Brian Otney. Excuse me, Troy Athens.
Yeah, exactly.
100% rest in peace to him as well. But just the type of freak athlete was he? Like, how good was he? And give me maybe a crazy story of TJ Duckett up at State.
Absolutely. When he came in his freshman year, was my junior year in 1999. The guy came in as a linebacker.
Kalamazoo Lloyd Norris.
That's right. So he came in playing linebacker in the beginning of the season, through training camp in the beginning of the season. We had a great team that year. He didn't really get a whole lot of time because we had a lot of players in front of him. Yeah. So offense, after a few weeks, we're like, we need this guy over here. We can really use him as a running back. He's a bull. He is an absolute bull. So, we start using him on offense. He's running over everybody. By the time the season ends, we get to the Citrus Bowl. This guy, usually, when we see him walk around, he's probably 255. This guy's like 265, 270 as a running back. Try to tackle this guy coming downhill.
Yeah, it's not happening.
And his running style is straight downhill, and he's gonna run you over. So, I mean, TJ, great friend of mine, love that guy, but came in as a freshman and just took over. Yeah. Really helped us excel that year.
I never knew that he came in as a defender. Huh?
It sounds like Mullings from Michigan, the linebacker. So no, he was a freakish talent. He also, by the way, he won the 60-meter dash that night too.
Wow.
Did he really?
To win the shot
TJ?
put. Yes.
Wow.
To win the shot put and the 60-meter dash.
That's Will Chamberlain's type stuff.
Yeah, most cats throwing the shot put, they're not finishing faster than 9 seconds in the 60.
I mean, this guy's a freak athlete and the nicest guy in the world.
I know we're up on the break, so before
I want to get
please.
Now, Bill Burke was the quarterback there for a while.
That's right.
Did you play with who was the next quarterback after Burke?
Van Dyke and Smoker was.
So Van Dyke came in my senior year. Van Dyke started the season. He broke his thumb, I think, the third game of the season, and Smoker finished out the rest of that season. He was Smoker was a freshman.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and had to finish the season out.
Were you there for the
Burke.
famous clock game?
That was the year after I was gone. So I was in attendance to that game.
Yeah, I was too.
Excellent.
You know Spartan Bob, the clock operator?
I mean, I don't know him personally, but
he's
in my thoughts and prayers, that's for sure.
2, 1, 1, 1. Just in case you forgot what that was.
Right.
I've never seen Lloyd matter on after a game. I'm talking about we've lost to Ohio State, we lost to USC, we lost to Texas. So there's been some games. We lost a dumb game, in there a couple times.
Oh, you were a freshman on that squad.
That's why I don't count it, because I didn't play.
Right, you didn't play.
I didn't play one snap in that game, and they cheated. So I was like, I'm 3-1 or asterisk or 4-0 asterisk. But we were kind of at the back of the bus. Some guys were telling jokes, and I'm a freshman. I don't know protocol after you lose to your rival Michigan State. The jokes kind of start going up. Man, I remember being on 94, and Lloyd told him to pull the bus over.
Ooh.
The Michigan smart, he pulled the bus over literally on the freeway.
Wow.
Yelled at the whole squad. Like, you
legend.
You went up there, you blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Looking back at that speech years later, what I love about that is we're joking about Spartan Bob. Spartan Bob, we know Spartan Bob stopped the clock. But Lloyd was pissed because we shouldn't have been in that position.
Right.
And it taught me a lot about how to look at things. We had a 12-man on the penalty before that. We gave up another pass interference right before that. We shouldn't even have been in that position. So I got to respect my coach, Lloyd Carr, for it. That's how he looked at it. I don't want to hear about Spartan Block.
Yeah.
You guys went out there and you were undisciplined. You lost the game.
Championship mentality.
Yeah, have the mentality that what you do during the whole game is what wins the game, and it doesn't just come down to the last few plays that a lot of people focus on.
I hate when they blame it on one call. Vikings
You miss it?
fans.
You get the itch in August?
I miss being involved in it, right?
Okay.
I mean, I coached college football for a few years. I went back to as a graduate assistant at Michigan State. And
were you there in 04?
I was there in 04. 03 and 04. I mean, hey, listen, we had the game plan against you. Luckily, I wasn't involved in that part of it. I was working with the offensive line, right? Because I was, pretty unstoppable. The defensive guys had to worry about that. Yeah. I was actually there with Robert Saleh. It was the defensive graduate assistant while I was there. Okay. So that was his job to worry about you. But
maybe that's why he's so cool. Like every time I see him, he has that laugh, like we know each other. I guess we do.
Right. We'll have to remind him that when he comes here as the defensive coordinator. And
he was in Seattle when I was in Seattle, I think. But yeah, anyway.
That's great stories.
It's good to talk to you, man. Like talking to you is bringing back that college vibe. Like I'm not complaining about what college is now. I love it too, but those days you can't get back, man. It was a special time in football.
Hey, before Dave goes, I got to ask him about tonight's playoff game. Notre Dame, Penn State at the Orange Bowl. Now, I just read Notre Dame, the whole team.
They got the flu.
It's got the flu.
Ooh. Is that right?
Today, I just sent my friends a video of the Cotton Bowl, and I forgot what year it was. It was Joe Montana when he had the flu. And
78 or 79. Yeah, 78, 79.
And he brought back Notre Dame from 21 down in the fourth quarter to win that game, and here it is. They got the flu. Irish got the flu, and Penn State representing the Big Ten. Who you got tonight?
Well, I look at this game tonight being a much more physical game than the next game after that, right after than the Ohio State game. And originally, I had thought that Notre Dame was going to be coming out on top. Just learning that they're going to all have the flu. I don't know how that affects it. In a physical game like that, when you're worn down and tired and you're sick, I think that probably weighs a lot on you. Just because it's the Big Ten, I would like to see Penn State win, but my original thought was that Notre Dame's going to come out with the victory tonight.
And Ohio State versus Texas.
I think Ohio State goes in a landslide.
A landslide?
Yep.
Wow.
I really think they're going to clean up. And it's probably hard for you to hear that. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, because as soon as the whole thing came out, I told him, I was like, the Ohio State and Texas have the best shot. This is some BS. I agree with you wholeheartedly. You also know why. I don't trust the coaches on the opposition. I don't trust Sark in big games, and I don't trust James Franklin in the big game. I'm going with the same you're going with.
That's right.
Appreciate having you on the show, big guy.
Absolutely,
appreciate you having me. Thanks.
We'll have you back during the season.
Still got those linemen.
We'll have you back during the season.
Hey, what's that?
I'd love to.
What's that on your finger there? You got there? What's that?
That's the Citrus Bowl championship.
All right.
Who'd you guys beat that game?
We beat Florida.
Sweet.
We own Florida in the state of Michigan because I think Michigan's something like 4-1 against Florida in the last 5 times. I know you guys beat them twice over the last couple years or 30 years or so. But let's pay some bills. KG, get us on track, and we'll be back with Braylon's Top 10.
You bet, baby.
There it is, Top 10.
All right.
All right. Time for Mark White, guys. You know the scoop. Dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch? Mark White & Associates. Your trusted real estate experts are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000 right off the top. Call Mark White and Associates today, 248-290-8242. Hit them up online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, Mark White, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
7 days a week, you can walk into any Lady Jane's in the Metro Detroit area, and they will take the chore out of getting your hair cut. They're talented hairstylists. They give you that industry-leading haircut along with a relaxing scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. 7 days a week, anytime you can walk right in. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Back-to-back NFC North Division champions. The Detroit Lions are playoff bound and ready to eat the kneecaps of anyone standing in our way. Follow Woodward Sports as we cover the best season in Detroit Lions history. Go Lions!
Talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again.
From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
One, pre-game first.
Hey, we got Woodward in Maine and the New Holland Brewing Company Lions pregame show. They both take place downtown at Second Best. First off, you're going to join Matt Broder and Terry Foster as they get you started on the day. And then you're going to shift over to Neil Rule and Sean Belizean as they get you all prepped for the next Lions game. It is your official guide to Lions game day, and it is brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller, your local long drink, Sabbath Coffee, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Chevrolet. And those same sponsors are also going to bring you the watch party as well as the post-game show, and those take place at Hayes Social. Once again, brought to you by the New Holland Brewing Company, Sabbath Coffee Roasters, Soroki's, and 1800 Tequila. Join the heavyweights as they watch the Lions smoke whoever they play in the second round of the playoffs, along with you, the chat, and all of our loyal Woodward followers.
Commanders.
And then join Stick and myself for the post-game show as we wrap up yet another Detroit Lions playoff win.
Oh, man, I miss the days of when the text messages that came to me, I recognized the majority of the numbers. Now with the, the ads and the telemarketers and everything else, I'm like, just call my phone. Like, I got to get a whole new phone.
I had a little envelope sitting on the top of my Nokia for like 2 years. I'm like, what the hell is that? How do I open that? That was my text message. I hated them, and now nobody even wants to talk on the phone at all.
Welcome back, second hour of the show.
Do you guys still leave messages? Or do you just
No.
call and hang up?
If it's important, I'll leave a message.
Now, the new way of doing things, Maria, you could answer
Is
this.
DMing somebody.
Do you ever leave a message, or do you just call, and if your friend don't answer, you just hang up?
Oh, I leave a message.
Oh, you do? Good. I leave messages,
I want
too.
them to respond to me.
You know another way you can do
message,
messages? You can do a voice note. A voice note is a text, but you can hear my voice. You can hear the sense of urgency of what it is. Because if I call, it's urgent, and you don't pick up, I'm going to be pissed.
Okay.
So you do a note.
All right.
James Franklin side note, before we get to the top 10 Thursday.
Yeah, you got to play this.
The comment, the quote. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw that up there. They're at the press conference. It's Marcus Freeman, it's James Franklin. And he just, what he did, I think is some BS. You tell me if you agree. I know he's playing a mind game.
I liked it.
It's a mind game. Like, we're too old for mind
What
games.
have I been always preaching to you about Notre Dame? Join a conference.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how he asked him his age, and he was.
Oh, I don't have that one.
No, I'm talking about that part. He was like, "How old are you? Oh, you got a nice hairline. You're 38. You look like." Don't do that.
Oh,
Don't
wow,
belittle me here at this microphone. I'm a
know
grown
that.
ass man. I got my team here. It's time to play on tonight. You know what? I hope that Notre Dame rolls Penn State because I didn't like what that little exchange looked like.
And I want to play this Notre Dame cut anyway. This is James Franklin.
You're still on that conference.
This is James Franklin saying, "Hey, I think all teams should be in a conference."
I think it should be consistent across college football. I think, again, this is no knock at Coach or Notre Dame, but I think everybody should be in a conference. I think everybody should play a conference championship game, or no one should play a conference championship game. I think everybody should play the same number of conference games, but just just the numbers are going to make things more challenging if you're playing one more conference game. So I just think things need to be consistent across college football.
Worry about the game and your game plan. Don't be telling me what you think people should do in college football. You just worry about winning a big game. And that SMU game does not count. You do not get credit. And a battered Georgia with that. What is James Franklin on? This is my thing. What does it matter? Because you know what Notre Dame will never get the opportunity to do? No one talks about this. They'll never have a bye because they're not in the conference. So they can't be conference champ. So they'll never have a bye. They can go 13-0, 12-0, whatever it is, be the best team in the country, and they still got to play in the first round.
They don't have to play the conference championship game, though.
But they still got to play in the first round if they're the best team. Who cares? They should just get rid of the conference championship. But since they
I'm with you there.
But we're already here. Notre Dame is kind of like the grandfather exception to the rule. The fact that they don't get a chance to get the number 1 seed, if they don't want to play the conference.
Who do you like tonight? Who do you think's going to win tonight? It's an even game. It's like a 1-point spread.
It's Notre Dame
80 yards passing bothers me from Notre Dame last week. Riley Leonard, not the best quarterback, but
he runs for first downs, though.
This is true. James Franklin just bothers me. And their offense, their defense is great. Abdul Carter is one of the best players in the country, defensively and just period. Defense plays well. Look at the SMU game. But that offense, like 2 plays in a row, you get an Aller run for 13 or you get a Singleton scramble for 20. Then you don't get any offense out of them for 10 plays, for 2 series. They'll go 3 and out. You know how many 3 and outs they had against SMU of all teams? So I just do not want to put trust in James Franklin. I never have. I never will. Give me Marcus Freeman. I think he's a great motivator of men. And yeah, this is a flu game. Some people have good games in the flu.
Marcus Freeman is very likable.
100%. He's an Old State guy.
Who do you like there tonight, buddy?
I can see them channeling their inner flu Jordan.
Okay.
Listen, nobody's wrong. I do think that you see all 4 major sports, they have standardization. They're all in conferences. They all have to play similar schedules and face other conferences or their inside conference the same amount of times. But at the same time, why are you worried about anybody else but your own ball team? And I will always go that way more than any other way. But for somebody that actually likes the new college football system, and basically the only person in my age group that likes the playoff system, the novelty of Notre Dame being that just ghost squad that lingers and doesn't have a true home, I kind of love that.
Yeah.
It bothered me as a Michigan fan. It bothered me as a Spartan fan. It kind of bothers me as just a fan of sports after I've left my school. But
it's nostalgia.
It's who they are, yeah. And so if they end up in a division conference one year, like it kind of knocks that mystique off of them.
To me, they should have always been a Big Ten team.
But they weren't.
True.
But they have. Yeah, you're right. They fit the mold. They play ground and pound. They have great offensive line play. They rush the ball. They play good defense.
Indiana's already
They're not sexy like the SEC or the ACC.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like that Notre Dame did, and I think if they ever do this again, then they shouldn't be allowed to leave. Remember the year where they joined the ACC during COVID just to get the win, just to make it in, and then the following year they was like, yo, peace out. We appreciate you getting us in there. That can never happen again.
Yeah.
Like if you join a conference for whatever reason, guess what? You now belong to that conference.
And I don't like the basketball team belongs to a conference. They used to be Big East. Now I think they're
Everybody
ACC.
in Notre Dame does, except the football team.
I hate it.
Women's basketball is ACC.
It's all different.
Yeah.
Can I drop some historical trivia on you? Because I know that you enjoy that. You guys are familiar with the Michiana Purchase, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you know that South Bend was a Michigan town.
Ooh, it's very close.
It was part of Michigan before the Michiana Purchase.
Was Toledo a part of Michigan as well?
No, the southwestern side of where we overlapped with that
like
area.
Indiana, Illinois going around there.
It would be interesting where people's allegiance lied if it was a Michigan school.
That would be tough. You would have 3 powerhouse schools and not a lot of space. I mean, Michigan's a large state, but not a lot of space as relates to that.
Michiana is also boring. I do not miss it.
No. 100%.
I wasn't alive. Maz, I don't think you were either.
Maybe.
Probably not.
They love to do that to you. I'm not doing that to you, pal.
Right, buddy.
All right, top 10. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Look, the
Top
Detroit
10
Lions.
Thursday. Got to do it like Ryan.
Top 10 Thursday. Ryan Ermanni, shout out. We miss you. Lions, most exciting team to watch this year in the NFL. Best team in the NFL, at least I believe so. You can argue about the nuts and bolts of the playoffs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Best team in the regular season this year to me, barring the record. One of the most fun teams to watch ever. So I got to thinking, man, I was like, what are my favorite teams to watch as a kid? Like, who were my teams that gave me pleasure, if you will?
The Globetrotters.
Top 10.
Only joking.
Here we go. NFL top 10s as per me. Number 10, 1998 Falcons. Now, look, I wasn't a huge fan because they actually beat the team that's going to be on here as well.
The Dirty Birds.
100%. But the Dirty Bird, you couldn't deny. Jamal Anderson, the Dirty Bird. Like, you know,
MC Hammer, baby. Come on.
How about Dan Reeves doing it?
100. Dan
The
Reeves
head
did it when
coach.
they won in the NFC Championship. He did it. So this team was great. It was electric. It took over the league. This team and then the salute by the Broncos, I think, is the best team unison celebration of things.
Yeah, that was great.
9. Listen, man, you can say what you want to about Cam Newton. I won't. I love Cam Newton, and I love that 15-1 2015 Panthers. And it wasn't just him. That defense was outstanding. Luke Kuechly, one of the best linebackers in the modern era. Thomas Davis was on that team. You can say what you want to about Josh Norman because most of it's true. But that year, Josh Norman was one of the best defensive backs in the league. That was fun. Ted Ginn down the field. It didn't matter. Cam Newton, a.k.a. Superman Cam. Definitely a fun team to
Julius
watch.
Peppers on that squad?
He came back that year, actually. I think a year before that. He still was in Green
He
Bay.
only dove on that ball. Never mind.
I wish he would have dove on the ball. It would have changed the complexity of how people viewed him a little bit. But
he even says he wish he did.
100%.
He admits it.
Hey, things happen.
Yeah.
You know, and he's found himself. Shout out to him. But that 2015 team, KG, like it was, like whenever Carolina was on, you had to watch it.
Now, didn't they have a rookie wide receiver that caught 10
Kelvin
touchdowns?
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Devin Funches was on that team.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit, U of M, D Funch.
Yeah.
Shout out to Westside Cubs.
Ricky Prohl or no?
No. That was
Okay.
Ricky Prohl was the first time they played. When they played and lost to the
That was Jake
the
Delhomme and the
Patriots.
Patriots. Yeah,
100%.
they should have won that game.
All right, here we go.
Number 8.
Greatest show on turf.
Number 8. It's the 1999 Rams, the greatest show on turf. They had Isaac Bruce, they had Torrey Holt, and in the backfield they had a guy that would go over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, and that man's name is Marshall Faulk, one of 2 people to ever have 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing. They laid the groundwork for what the Detroit Lions are now. That 99 Rams team, I would equate them to last year's Lions team. Because
because this year's Lions team's offense is better.
This year, 100%, but this year's Lions team would be comparable to the 2001 Rams team when they broke all the records, but then they lost 100%. But that Rams team was great, the greatest show on turf. It took the league by storm, and everybody had to watch it. Do you realize that they outscored their opponents by 236 points that year?
Wow.
But Maz, on defense, they gave up plus 200 that year.
So they were even.
And they still won by an average margin of 10.5 points per game. That's pretty amazing.
By a grocery store stock boy.
How about it?
100%.
One of the greatest stories of all time.
It's the American dream, the American underdog, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner. Number 7, the 1994 49ers. They probably were my favorite team of all time.
Was this the Jerry
for a long
Rice
time? And I think this
touchdowns
might
in the
be
Super
out
Bowl?
of. You said what?
Was this Jerry Rice in the Super Bowl beating the Chargers?
Yes, this is the Chargers. They beat them. Natron Means and
They
Stan
killed
Humphrey.
them.
Deion Sanders had an interception. Like him going to the 49ers, everyone knew they were going to win because the 49ers were already good. Steve Young, my favorite quarterback ever, not named Warren Moon.
I love Steve Young.
I love
man.
Steve Young.
Nasty.
BYU's own. I love the 49ers. I just love the 49ers, man.
And they had those, they went through like a throwback uniform that year.
They did, the white pants.
Yep.
The white pants. You know what's crazy about
Merton
that?
Hanks?
Guess who beat this 94 49ers team? I want to say the Lions beat them.
Really?
Or maybe they beat them in 95. They beat
That
one
one
of
you
the-
got me on.
Yeah, it was at the Silver Dome, but number 7 was the 49ers. 6.
Oh, I love this team, bro.
6.
I love them.
Listen, I'm not usually
I
a
don't like this
defensive
team.
led guy.
I don't like this team at all.
I don't
I
like
second
defense.
that, man.
Well, first of all,
Hated
Face,
this team.
a.k.a. Dwight Smith, went to Central High School,
They
had
beat the
2
Raiders.
picks in the Super Bowl. Shout out to my man Face, a.k.a. Dwight Smitty. Their defense was fun to watch because you were going to get knocked out by John Lynch or Face Mob, or Derek Brooks was going to intercept the pass and take it to the house. Warren Sapp was going to talk greasy,
Warren Sapp.
and then he was going to go sack your quarterback. Simeon Rice was on that team, and then they had Mike Allstott.
You know why I had a problem with this
Brad
team?
Johnson.
Because they're in the same division?
Well, because they were in the same division, they were these cheesy white and orange jersey, and they're like, we're going to change our jersey to these cool jerseys. They get Warren Sapp, and all of a sudden, the team that's supposedly worse than us.
Super Bowl. Brad Johnson's quarterback, Keyshawn Johnson.
Hey,
they
have
Joe
Warwick
Jordan
Dunn.
Vicious.
They had Warwick Dunn too, right?
Yeah, they had Warwick Dunn and Mike Austin. Mike Austin still
man,
played
I
fullback
love
at
this
that time.
team, man.
This team was actually one
Remember
of
Chris
Johnson?
Berman when he would do a Mike Allstott video?
Rumbling,
No,
tumbling,
you would go like,
stumbling,
"Boof,
bumbling.
boof,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This one,
I miss those days, man. But Mike Allstott, but that team they were great.
Yeah,
they were great. And I think
Johnson.
sometimes greatness is just fun to watch.
You're in good hands with Mike Allstott, he would say.
Oh, yeah.
You're in
That's
good
a
hands
fact.
with Allstott.
Ain't this when Gruden jumped ship from the Raiders
Yes.
to the Bucks?
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is when they played them in the Super Bowl, and
Yep.
Gruden could not believe. Shout out to Bill Callahan.
They
who
didn't change
was
the
the offensive
plays.
line coach when I was in the Jets. So shout out to my guy. He didn't change any of the signals.
No.
Any of the conversation. Like, how do you do that?
I can't.
I know he was looking across like, I know that.
I remember I was sick as a dog watching the Super Bowl. I remember that specifically.
Yeah.
I must have got the flu or something. I remember I was in the basement and I watched this game, and it was ugly. It was just an ugly game.
I was actually excited because this is
Of course, I wanted the Raiders to win.
0-2. I'm at Michigan. We're in the dorms watching this. Charles Woodson was the DB for the Raiders, and guess what he did? He had a pick on the first series. So we're going crazy. We're like, oh yeah, the Raiders about to win, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he got hurt after that, and then the rest is history. 5-6 turnovers that game for the Raiders. It got ugly. What do you think of the list so far, man?
Love it, man. I love it. Hey, these are your favorites.
Yeah, same. It's my favorites. And a lot of
These are
these
yours.
teams didn't even win Super Bowls. They just have to be my favorite team.
You know what today's the anniversary of? The Music City Miracle.
Wow.
The Buffalo Bills and the
Tennessee Titans.
And the Tennessee Titans.
Maz, you're ruining you're spoiling the surprise.
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
Put up the top 5
Aaron
for me,
McNair.
KG. I took that Titans team off. I had them on there. You see my original text, the Titans 99 team.
I didn't
was on
see
it.
it. I didn't see it.
I took it off. I took them off and I swapped them for the
They should have
2010
won the whole damn
Jets.
thing, man.
Yeah.
They should have won the whole
1
damn
yard.
thing. Yep.
Kevin Dyson.
Should have beat your
1 yard
guys.
line. All right, here we go. 2013. This is bittersweet because in 2012 I played for the Seahawks. 2013 they win the Super Bowl, so I missed by
I didn't
one.
know
but
that, bro.
I was there.
Legion of Boom, MetLife. They beat up on Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Look,
Bruno
this team
Mars,
was great.
halftime.
I
How
legitimately
does
watched
he
it.
remember that?
I was there.
He was there.
Oh, okay.
Of course he was.
I saw this team forming. Like I was watching it in practice, man. You just saw the camaraderie between Cam and Earl and Sherm. His defense was
They were
great, man.
fabulous.
And then young, all the guys were young too. Bobby Wagner. Yeah, what is the linebacker's name that just retired? But anyway, this team was great. And then on the opposite side of the ball, you had Beast Mode, you had Russell Wilson. They didn't let Russ cook, and that's why they won the Super Bowl in 2013. 2004, I really was just trying to say Mike Vick. And I know this is about the team, but I don't want to hear that. Mike Vick was electric. Like every time the Falcons were on TV, I was watching Fox. I was tuning in to Mike Vick. I wanted to see what number 7 was going to do. And that 2002 team actually, that's the team, the infamous play where he beat Brett Favre and Lambeau. That's the 02 team.
I'll be.
100%. 2003, my 2010. Number 3 is 2010 New York Jets.
Wonderful
That was
team.
a fun year, man. It was a fun ride.
Where are the Browns on there?
I said my favorite team.
There's no Browns.
My favorite teams to watch there. Now this is a fun year, and a lot of people probably wouldn't have them up there, but like I played, I was part of that ride. It was just fun. LaDainian Tomlinson, who's obviously in the Hall of Fame
That's
now.
Ryan,
Jason
baby.
Taylor, Revis Island. I got to see it the year before. You know, you could argue that he would have won the Defensive Player of the Year if it wouldn't have been for Charles.
Were you buddies with Jason Taylor?
Yeah, he was cool. He
Did he
got
introduce you to his sister?
I'm staying away from that
Yeah,
right now. We
please.
can talk about it off air. We can talk about it off air. But the 2010 Jets team, man, look, we should have beat, as a lot of teams on here, we should have beat the Steelers in
Yes.
the AFC Championship. Didn't happen like that. It
Left a
wasn't
lot
like
of meat
that.
on the bone, man.
But it was a lot. It was a fun year. It was a lot of fun year to start off on Hard Knocks that year. So that that Jets team was good. Number 2, who was my favorite team of all time, was the Minnesota Vikings. Randy Moss, my favorite player of all time. That team was fun. Another 15-1 team. Went all the way to the NFC Championship. They had a kicker named Gary Anderson. Didn't miss a field goal all season long. He misses at the end of regulation. They go to overtime. And another Anderson, Morton, wins the game for the Dirty Birds. So this is the closest I've ever come to crying on a football loss. And it wasn't Michigan, it was the Vikings.
Atlanta went on to lose to John Elway, his final game.
That was the second Super Bowl, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, second one. That was the
Super Bowl 23.
Who performed the halftime show at that one, Naz?
Super Bowl 23. I was at that game as well.
It's a rock group.
And I can't remember.
How many Super Bowls have you been to, my friend?
5.
5. That's fantastic.
Not
all
enough.
Different cities?
Not enough. Yeah,
Okay.
all different cities.
I feel that.
And then number 1, there's no shocker here. Look, what the Lions have done this year, and this is funny, this is a true story. I was watching Lions dialed in because everybody's gambling, everybody's betting. I was betting, so I'm watching. They were the most fun team to bet on. You know this kid, Dave Montgomery's going to score a touchdown at the beginning of it. Jameer Gibbs somewhere in there, Amon-Ra. So it's a fun team to bet on. But when I stopped watching, so I stopped betting, I still enjoyed watching the Lions. They still gave me, my family, much love. They do it in so many unorthodox ways. It's a new brand of football. Like, we're witnessing a new brand of football and ushering a new way to call plays, go for it on fourth down. Trick players are now becoming normal, if you will. You watch the story of Jared Goff, threw him away, now here he is, Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's a fun team, and it's the most fun that I've had watching a team. Probably the Rams, the other one, fairly similar. Mike Martz, offensive coordinator, he creates this thing that's genius, becomes the head coach. Very similar to Ben Johnson and what that's going to be. But this team is great, man. I like the Lions. Tell me, Maz, after looking at all 10, everybody else in the chat can figure out this, what do you notice about these teams? Oh, Deion Sanders up there. I like it.
Let me look.
What conference are the Lions
my
in?
NFC.
One AFC team on that list, and it's the one I played for.
The Jets, yeah.
I never liked the AFC
Right,
growing
me
up.
neither. I still don't.
I hated
Amen.
them. I watched Fox. I watched the Lions, the 49ers, the Vikings, Green Bay, whatever they gave. But the NFC has always been like my favorite thing.
Respect.
So, there's some cool AFC teams. Don't get me wrong. I like watching Phillip Rivers and LaDainian. There was some Charger times. I hated the Steelers, so even when they were good, I didn't like Ben Roethlisberger.
How about you, Anson? Now, do you have a team, like he did the top 10 favorite teams to watch in the year? Do you have one? You have a year that you remember
beyond the
following a
91
team?
Lions, obviously, which was just an
That was
amazing.
a fabulous team.
It was a fabulous team. I loved primetime so much. I was a big Vic guy. Honestly, though, Ed Reed has been basically my favorite player that has never worn a Lions uniform. So those early teams, I'm not a big Ray guy, but I loved Ed Reed. I love the viciousness of that defense. Siragusa was always a good personality.
Awesome.
I liked that team quite a bit, but I mean, there is so much to love about this 2024 Lions team. Even if you're not from Detroit, listen to Nick Bosa. That looks like a cool team to play for.
I love that soundbite.
Love that
great
clip.
one.
But listen, this team is so sexy on both sides of the ball. Even their kicker, we've given up less than 10 yards per game in the punting game. That's wild. I mean, there's just so many players and so many reasons to enjoy watching, loving this team, and rooting for them to win a Super Bowl. But I got to be honest, man, if this team doesn't win the Super Bowl, they might notch back in under the 91 because expectations are a mother.
Well, last year, look how close it came, right? Last year could have been your team.
Yeah.
Could have been all our team. I'll go back. You know me, guys. You know I love the NFL. I know I have 1,000 favorite teams, but the '86 Giants was awesome for me. It was their first win. It was the first time the Giants were ever good since I was a kid. I was 24 when they won it. 25 actually. So that would have been my pick. Lawrence Taylor and those guys. It was great. I loved it. And when they beat the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25, to get there, they had to beat the San Francisco 49ers and Joe Montana going for a three-peat, and they did it, all on field goals. They kicked 6 field goals to beat the 49ers, that candlestick, and stop. I remember Pat Summerall and John Madden said there will be no three-peat. And this year, we've got another team going for a three-peat, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs, and I really do believe they will come up short in the conference championship game. I don't think they make it to the Super Bowl.
You know, the weird thing for me is it wasn't until this season that number 16 stopped belonging to Chuck Long.
How about that?
16.
Yeah, I don't blame
is
you.
Only Jared Goff now.
Yeah.
I got to know, though, KG, who's your squad?
I got a few. I really like that 2010 Steelers team that went to the Super Bowl
That was James Harrison.
Yeah, James Harrison, Troy Polamalu,
Rod Woodson was not with them anymore, was he?
Yeah. That was a great
Lamar
Super Bowl.
Woodley, University of Michigan's own.
There you go.
That was one of the best Super Bowls.
Larry
Absolutely.
Detroit.
Larry
Lamar
Fitzgerald
Woodley,
giving the
Saginaw.
Cardinals the lead with a minute to go in the game.
74-yard
Yes,
slant route.
should have been over.
I did not want
But
the Steelers
here
to win
comes
that.
Ben Roethlisberger and Santonio Holmes. I think Santonio had something like 70 yards on that drive alone. Plus, they legitimately called the same play and just reverse sides. Because remember, they threw it on the left
absolutely.
side, and he dropped it. They came back, ran the same exact play on the right side, and he made one of the greatest catches, not just in Super Bowl history,
Tell you, man,
but
we don't really-
ever.
Eastside Maria, where did Ben Roethlisberger go to school?
Miami, Ohio.
Yeah!
I knew she'd know that one.
I know
Shout
that
out to the
one,
Red
don't
Hawks.
worry.
Atta
He's
girl.
a Red Hawk.
You know the first team I ever played in college?
Miami.
It was Miami of Ohio, and it was Ben Roethlisberger's first start.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, how'd that go?
He
Not
had-
well for him?
No, not for. Well, yes and no. They lost, but he had 330 and like 2 tuds. So it was like, yeah, we lost, but
And that was his first start ever.
not bad from a kid. He was a redshirt freshman, but it was his first start.
That's pretty cool.
By trade.
Cool story.
All right.
Hey, we got a quick interview I want to play with DJ Reader, went
You
on the
wanna-
Jim Rome show, because we've got Dr. Jeff Pierce coming
good
up.
call.
Want to take a break first or play the interview first?
We can play the interview and then go to break and then
All
come
right.
back.
This is DJ Reader this week on the Jim Rome Show. It's 3 different parts. I'm putting them all together for you. It's about 3 minutes long. It's a real good interview, and you get a real good insight to DJ Reader and how much he really loves being a Lion.
Sam Darnold and the Vikings. And then what was your statement, DJ, for anybody who doubted whether or not your defense can show up the way it did?
Man, I think we just showed who we are. We're a unit who, we're coming together. It looks different than what it did at the beginning of the season, but now everybody who's out there has played a lot of snaps with each other, and we're starting to figure each other out at the right time. I think, that's just what doubters don't know. Everybody can sit from outside and pick apart. It's easy to do and sit there and, throw stones and whatever you want to do, but I think the best thing for us is knowing what we have inside. We kept winning games, and so we just built confidence in each other, and we knew that those things would come. Our coordinator AG, he just built more confidence in us. Our position coaches, they believe in us, and our offense, they're gonna go out there and do what they do. They're gonna put up points, so we're gonna get a lot of opportunities, and I think those opportunities paid off.
DJ, you mentioned doubters. Are there doubters? Like, do you guys, obviously, as an athlete, a high-level athlete, you're going to come up with ways to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
Is that a way to motivate yourself? Or are there actual doubters, and do you hear them?
I think there's not doubters. I think there's more second guessers. I guess you would call that doubt, though, right? I guess that falls in the same category. I think, what we've done has been great, and we've proven we're a really good team. But we haven't gotten it done to the end yet, and I think that's what everybody's waiting on. And I don't think you get to talk as much until that happens. So it's to be expected. It's what happens, and I think that's just the internal motivation. We know how close we got as an organization last year, and the motivation is that we're meant to slip up again, but we want to keep going and keep pushing forward.
When you and I spoke in the offseason and you signed with the Lions, it was obvious you were pumped. You were pumped to be joining that franchise. Has it been everything you thought it would be, or maybe even better?
Man, it's been even better. I guess it's everything I could ask for, from the coaching staff to the facility to just the support staff and everybody around. I think that's really the coolest part about the place, is that everybody's got one track mind to go win, and it seems important to them, and nobody's faking it. Everybody's out there working every day.
Is that not like that everywhere you play? Like, you would just assume that it is, but it's not, is it?
Yeah, I think you would just assume that it is. I think everybody doesn't work in as cohesive of a unit. I think this is just all one unit moving together, top to bottom, and what they care about upstairs is what we care about, and it's all in the direction of winning. I don't think that. I wouldn't say that it's not the direction of winning everywhere. I think everybody just does it different, and so it's not necessarily as connected always as it is here.
You made the point that it's like everybody in the locker room, everybody collectively goes about it a certain way. So I don't want to single one guy out, but how huge, Like, I love Alex Anzalone. I've always loved the guy. I loved him before he got there. I love him now that he is there. His energy, man, his aggression. How much of a lift do you and the entire defense get, or did you get from his return?
Man, we love Zoe, man. He's our energy guy. Zoe, not only with being a quarterback of the defense, man, and just knowing everything, super smart and amazing player, but he's got so much energy, man. He gives it to us all the time. And the guys, we just love it, man. You need more positive energy guys out there always. And, you know, with being an amazing player, it sparks not only us, but the crowd. You see how the crowd reacts to Zoe when he's out there, and it's amazing, man. So it was big to get him back. He's the leader of our defense, one of our captains, and, we love him.
All right, that's DJ Reader on the Lions injuries as well as being together and also not seeing anything like this anywhere else. Dr. Pierce is joining us in a second, so let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll bring him in and get to talking about these injuries and as well as some of the players coming back. But let's tell you a little bit about Soroki's and these signature wings. They are fire, and I do mean fire. I know you hear me say it every day, but I'm a man of consistency. Lemon pepper is the flavor for you, but the buffalo as well as the honey barbecue, not bad options at all. Real fans' favorite Soroki's. Trust me, we know about it here at Woodward Sports. Crispy chicken is still fire as well as the pizza. So many reasons and many things to pull up on Soroki's for, but those signature wings, you might want to give them a try before they're gone.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Hey, listen, y'all. A lot of good games going on this weekend. You're getting ready for the NFL playoffs. Why don't you get right with your sports book, man? Caesars Sportsbook is here to help. You scan this QR code, enter the code Woodward1000, and if your first bet doesn't hit, they'll give you your deposit back up to $1,000. That's right, $1,000 back in your account, giving you another shot if you lose. But you're not gonna lose, but it's okay. Make a $20 bet, and Caesars will take care of the rest. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today. The official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Once again, use that code Woodward1000 to get your deposit money back. And we are back.
I just stopped yelling out stuff on the microphone. My cousin told me that I act like I have Tourette's up here. Like I said, it's not Tourette's. I said, I'm like hyping my guy up. I'm like, yo, let's win some money.
Yeah.
He's like, you sound like you got Tourette's. Like, relax on that. So my bad, cuz I'll pull it back. But let's bring in the man himself. I haven't seen him this New Year, so we'll start with a happy New Year's to my man, Michigan Sports and Spine, our insider. How about Dr. Jeffrey Pierce? What's up, Doc?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Can you
Looking good, Doc. Yeah, you're looking good, Doc.
This is official. This might be the best setting and the best lighting that we've seen you in one of our VMEX situations.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm at least stable. I'm not in a car. I don't know where I am. I'm in outside Knoxville, Tennessee, spreading the love out here with some of my new providers. So you guys have actually watched my companies grow. So it's exciting. We're expanding through Knoxville now, and we're bringing some of that Michigan special sauce over here. So the secret sauce is coming to Tennessee.
I'll expect a check in the mail, Doc. You can make it out to Braylon Edwards I'm just messing with you. How's your New Year been so far?
That foundation, you mean?
My LLC. How's your New Year's going so far?
It's going good. It's going good. Weather, of course, is different. Been traveling. Special time with my kids, which is the most important thing in the world. And we saw some good Lions and Red Wings. We went to the Red Wing game for New Year's.
Pistons too.
Obviously, we were at the.
Pistons too.
They're all undefeated.
Pistons too. I think the Lions world is spreading all the way to the Red Wings and Pistons. I mean, we got a lot of sports we can talk about.
No doubt. Hey, Doc, but you called it about 3 weeks ago. You said David Montgomery could avoid surgery, hang in there, take care of his knee, get a brace on it, get the special sauce going, and he could play. And guess what? He is playing next week in the divisional round of the playoffs. I attribute that all to you.
I would have loved to take credit for him in person, but, I got to rebuild that. I think I'm over the hill as far as treatment. I guess I got a few good tricks left in my career. But we would love to have Montgomery in our system. But the good news is that he took a step back. Everybody got less excited, and there was a protocol that we could do to help him get back on the field without eliminating the rest of the season. So, it's still not proven that he's 100%. But again, a Montgomery at 80, 85% is going to be way better. I mean, Reynolds has been doing great. His replacement. This Lions team, everybody stepped up, so I can't say anything bad. Alex Angeloni is a great example of having your number one player in there when you need him. I mean, what he did to that defense last week in Minnesota, that's just an elevation of having your top player in there from a mental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, from a toughness, just from that internal energy. It's going to make a difference. I think Montgomery's going to do the same thing. Take a little pressure off of Gibbs, even as a distraction. I think his presence is going to be phenomenal for this team.
No doubt, man. I'm so happy that he was able to sit back and wait and watch. Had this not been a playoff year, Doc, does he go under the knife right away?
Yeah. I mean, if we're out of the playoffs, it's all about getting ready for the next season. We're in a different position.
Right.
If you remember our talks even at the beginning of the season, our medical decisions depend on what's going on at the time. And, hindsight, can we give myself credit that I saw it right out of the gate once he got injured? Yeah, I mean, I'll take credit for it, but it doesn't always work out. We still got to see him play. Alex Angeloni, exceeded everybody's expectations. I think Montgomery, I think the medical team, which isn't getting enough credit this year, we should get an MVP for medical care for the Lions.
I agree.
With having the most injuries ever and going 15-2.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hats off. There's a lot of guys like DJ Reader was saying. Everybody in that system is in the same boat. From it's the trainer to the guy doing the towels to the woman who's writing the checks. I think everybody's on the same page, which makes a huge difference for a franchise like this.
All right, so Monty going forward now, he would have to have his knee, operated on at the end of the year. How long does it take for him to get back to 100%?
There's not a for sure operation. We still need to see the MRI.
Okay.
There is a conservative way to go back to it. There is some of what, I love saying it, the secret sauce that is helping non-surgical cases. He's not a clear-cut surgery. It wasn't a complete tear. There was a partial tear to it. We got to understand the difference. There's a natural healing of the body. May he go in there and get scoped, clean it up a little bit? That's always a possibility. And there's also the unfortunate possibility that he could make it a little bit worse. We have a baseline now of his new injury. Is he at risk of making it worse? He's got a weak link in that knee that they're going to brace, they're going to get him ready. But will it make it worse? Yeah, there's a good chance it could be worse. But I think, that decision will be made post. We're not going to be surprised at all that 2 weeks after the season, he's having some surgical repair.
Got it.
If
Hey,
that's
Doc.
your big question.
Another guy that we're going to be watching with great interest this offseason is Aleem McNeil. This injury, you and I and the rest of us have talked so much about the advanced technology behind knees and knee surgeries. Can this guy be ready for week 1 next year, or are we looking for somewhat of a replacement or a fill-in for him on our defensive line to start next year?
We're absolutely looking for a replacement or someone, a young player to kind of fill in, because we're not going to rush him for game 1. Again, the mentality is to have him 100%. There's no reason to rush him. Nobody's making the Super Bowl game 1. So if he needs more time, there is enough time, and we love that 4-month period. We like a 6-month period even more. I can't even do the math right now. We have how many months until the beginning of next season? What do we have?
Probably 9.
6.
6.
We're 6 plus
7.
months.
Yeah, July we'll start camp.
Oh, you're talking.
Yeah, so it's the JMO story. It's the same thing. If he's ready, he's ready. There's no reason to push it. But from a surgical repair, from a rehab, he's got enough time to be a purposeful player game one. How important it is will come down to the business minds and how he feels come game 1. But again, we're not winning a Super Bowl game 1, so we want him more long-term. That's a long-term play for him. And, you want everything to go perfect, like Hutchinson's going.
Doc, we were hoping we got Alex Anzalone back, and we did, probably a lot sooner than a lot of people thought we would as well, a lot of fans at least. How was he able to get back so fast, and what does it look like when he's out there? He has obviously the cast, he has it wrapped. How is he able to play? Because he came in there and he played like he hadn't missed a beat. So what is the scare in there with the cast eloquated for the people out there?
I mean, the cast is, it's a hard plastic that's on there. This guy, like I said before, what he got to do is rest his body for 7 weeks. And he rested the rest of it. The way he came out like a shotgun. You're talking about his body feeling good. Braylon, like playing every week, you're sore as can be.
Heck yeah.
Every player on that team is sore. He got to sit and not get hit, not get beat up week after week. He came out 110% because his body felt so good. It's like he was healthy. He doesn't. Every player right now has little nagging injuries. All he had was this little fracture in his arm that he put a cast on. The rest of the 98% of the rest of his body was ready to go. And once he got through that first grappling and tackle, he was like, he didn't skip a beat. He was ahead of it. I think he was faster in Minnesota than he was at the game he got hurt.
Yeah, he's
fresh for sure.
A lot of times what happens is, as you know, players, we don't even know we're hurt, injured, or nicked up a lot of times until you sit down for 2, 3, 4 days. You're like, oh, man, what's this? I got to go to the therapist. So that's why you have those exit meetings at the end of the year. Another guy that's coming back, he's not going to be injured for the playoffs. He'll be back, but he did get injured, and that's Kevin Zeiler. I wanted to ask you about the hamstring. It would be different if it was Taylor Decker or if it was Penei Sewell because there's tackles. But Kevin Zeiler does all that pulling, so he's running from side to side a lot in the games. He's running more than the tackles. How is he going to be with that hamstring? What grade is it?
I don't know the grade. I think it's between a 2 and 3. Actually, he doesn't have a complete tear. He doesn't have a minor tear. It's going to be in that 2-3 range. Ooh. Where, we're getting his feedback. The imaging is saying one thing. But overall, again, the hamstrings, to get him through a game like this, we're going to wrap it. We're going to secret sauce it. We're going to give him all the attention he needs in the training room and keep getting that improvement. But you bring up a good point. He's got to have that lateral side to side. He's got to have a little better footstep than some of the other guys. And he's going to tell us, the trainers are out there watching, the doctors are out there watching. Is he short stepping? Is he falling behind? What's going on? Just because he's on the team doesn't mean he's taking all the snaps. These guys keep track of snap counts, and he may be a 20 snaps or whatever, and we'll see how he does. Like they even said with Angeloni, they weren't planning on playing him more than half the snaps, and the guy was just so phenomenal. Through the game, he didn't look at any hesitation. So that's where there's game time decision and there's in-game decisions, right? So he may say, I'm ready to go. my hamstring feels good, and you just may have an awkward movement that makes him worse. Or he could be like, Alex, where he's just kept elevating his game. So there's in-game decisions.
Ooh, we lost Doc.
He'll be back. This happens, does it?
Did we lose the entire show? No. There's Doc.
There he is.
Hey, Doc.
Stop touching buttons, Doc.
Don't touch buttons, Doc.
Well, my bad.
You're
All right,
touching
buddy.
stuff. Did you hear hear what I said?
Go back 10 seconds and finish your statement.
I basically said you got to understand with us from a medical standpoint. I'm falling apart over here.
It's
from
off the rails.
Standpoint, we look at getting into the game. We look at game time decisions, and then we look at them at game time, during the game, in-game decision making. So if he's not playing, he's not pushing up, he's not have that speed, he's hesitating on one side. One, he's at risk of further injury. Two, he's at risk of letting a play happen that shouldn't have happened. So, it's a very dynamic. It's not like there's no on and off switch. We're dynamically working with every player, especially the injured ones. We got an extra set of eyes watching him. And he'll be one of those where we have an extra set of eyes watching him.
So the game was well in hand when he got hurt. If he was out at that time, would he have still gotten hurt maybe in practice?
Unlikely. I think he would have taken more caution.
Yeah.
We talk about what gear he's going to play in. Practice, kind of going through it, just understanding concepts right now. They're in that 4th, 5th, 6th gear. Game time, they're no less than a 7 gear.
Right.
We could have hindsight and all that, but that's, I hate being a Monday morning quarterback.
Sure.
We deal with what we have at hand.
Well, Carlton Davis was one of the names that Dan Campbell said would not come back by the Super Bowl. Broke his jaw, fractured his jaw. Is it because the jaw is fractured, they can't get it fixed, or is it because he can't eat anything to keep his strength up that'll keep him out? Because I thought he was going to be able to make it back for the playoffs.
Well, yeah, we actually predicted he should be back for playoffs, so there's got to be more of that story. I mean, nutritionally, we shouldn't be struggling. I mean, these guys have to eat 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day to maintain that, but obviously his activity level isn't at that level. With the special shakes and things we can give him now, IVs. I don't know how well wired shut it is. Unfortunately, right. I don't have the inside information on what his situation is.
Right, and then and DC mentioned Hutch as well as a long shot, and we all know it's a long shot. He said we all know it's a season-ending injury. I mean, that guy broke his leg in 2 spots, but he said if anyone can come back, it would be this kid.
Hutch is not saying he has not given. There's no give up in that guy. I mean, I watched him on the sideline. You're watching him. You're watching his personality come out. You're watching the therapy, the mental therapy for him being on the sidelines, helping any way he can. Even if he doesn't return, he's such a positive attitude on the sidelines. That guy's part of the Lions, and he deserves everything that he's doing. But yeah, you're talking now less than a month away from him playing. He still has a lot of atrophy in that leg. Granted, he'll come back strong for 2 weeks. His foot speed, his fast twitch, all that has to come back for him to be impactful. Will he be sacking the quarterback? No, but maybe he's a distraction. Maybe it's mental for everybody. Talking about game time decision, he's not leaving anything unturned until that February 8th date. When we got to make a decision.
Doc, this is how I look at the Aiden Hutchinson returning for the Super Bowl. It's like, for all these years we've been saying Belle Isle should just turn into a national park, and you can do this and you can charge that, and it sounds good in hindsight, but we know they'll never do it. It sounds good that Aiden Hutchinson will come back for the Super Bowl, but it's not going to happen. At least that's what I think. So I'm standing on that side of the fence. I'm not counting the guy out. I'm just counting out, that's a lot. Compound fracture of that nature, man, just seems all right. I think they'll play well in his stead.
I told you, stand by my statement from day one. He will beat 6-month return. Will he beat 4-month return is questionable.
Right.
And I think, to be honest and transparent right now, this guy's ahead of where I imagined him.
Amazing.
I tried to lay out how his recovery would happen. I've been pretty accurate. But to be honest, I'm trying to educate everybody. But from a personal level, this guy's even exceeding what I thought where he would be at. And he's just that special player. And science is there. I don't know. I'm not counting him out yet. I won't count him out until the day I don't see him on the field. So that's when I'll make my final prediction.
I'm with you, Doc.
And I think we'll keep that as the final words of Dr. Jeff S. Pierce. Doc, good to talk to you, man. We got to do this again next week.
See you, Doc. See you next week.
All right. I'll be in studio next week. Thanks, everybody.
About time. You're always somewhere
have a
connected
great
to
weekend.
Tennessee, man. Get your butt in studio.
Be safe.
All right,
See
Doc.
you guys.
We'll talk to you.
Take care, man. That was all right. That was good.
It was
a lot of good info.
And it was a great question when you first said, talking about nutrition up because you can't eat. I was like, wow, that's something great. And then I was thinking, well, Kyrie Irving, Enes Kanter, Hakeem Olajuwon, they didn't eat when they were fasting, and they seem to have the injury. So
they don't get tackled, though.
Steak through a straw, baby.
They don't tackle, or they don't get tackled. They don't get hit with a
So
helmet.
it's extra energy exerted because of the tackling?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, he probably took a forearm shiver with, who knows, I don't even know how he busted it. But someone had to come up on him.
The greatest undrafted
NBA plays back-to-back games, though.
Yeah.
NFL, you get 7 days rest or 6.
Greatest tight end, greatest quarterback, greatest undrafted free agent. What do they have in common? Vegan. Arian Foster. Guy from Kansas City. I'm blanking on his tight end name. And, of course, the GOAT.
Travis
Tom Brady.
Kelce?
No, the guy before him, who I guess is not the greatest tight end.
Somewhat Gonzalez?
Yeah. He was also a
Tony
vegan.
G.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and was considered the best tight end in the game when he retired.
He still has the most yards. I think he still has more than
Nice
Gronk.
stuff today, guys.
Good stuff. Good show.
Good time.
It's a fun show.
It was.
Appreciate having Mark Secure, Dave Secure. Good guy.
Yeah, he is. He was a
Really
great
good guy. You can tell
He
when
was.
people are at a good place in their life because that energy, it comes off. You can see he had good energy.
He's had that since college. Living in Case Hall, which was the football player dorm, you get all different looks, responses, and experiences with those football players. He was always a stand-up guy. Played a lot of hoops with him against some of the best players on the Spartan team. I got some real great memories with him, and he's just always been a fantastic human being.
Pistons Dubs tonight. Have fun,
I'll be
Bray.
there. I
Have
will
fun,
be there.
man.
KG, appreciate you, man. Great work out of you in that booth.
Thanks,
Maria,
Ken.
another great job by you.
Maria, thank you.
Appreciate you in the chat tomorrow. Ryan and Marty will be back. We'll get some of this super chat stuff rocking and rolling. I know I can do a better job with that, but hey, we're just starting. And also, look at the back. Get yourself some of these wings. How many times we got to tell you to get some of these wings?
Some biscuits.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.